A very on-brand Teofimo Lopez last night showed us once again why he's the most inconsistent fighter in boxing today.
Hey, people, humans, listen up, man. Listen up. Yeah, I can do all you want. Suck a dick, no, listen, I know, relax.
But don't get it twisted. Did Teofimo look like mediocre garbage? Yes, he did. But was it a robbery? Not necessarily. And I'm not just saying that because I wrote a whole article and made a whole fucking video about how I was picking Teofimo to win. But if you read the fine print, I did put, unless he's going through some crazy stuff. And it seems like that's just who Teofimo Lopez is.
Hey, people.
But before all that went on, let's talk about the fight itself, because this whole fight was false advertisement by Teofimo Lopez, because he promised us a show with this entrance, right? That was probably the most entertaining part for most of the people in the arena and those watching from home, because other than that, both of them didn't really do much to engage in a fight that would, deserve such a theme of show, being the greatest showman or whatever. It was giving more circus than the greatest showman, but that's neither here or there. That shouldn't have been the most interesting part of the night or entertaining part of the night coming from Teofimo Lopez, because even though you can make a case that Jamaine Ortiz deserved the nod simply because he controlled the pacing, right? He was the one making Teofimo come after him. He was making Teofimo miss. And you can make that argument that because he controlled the pace of the fight and he was making the champion look silly, then he deserves a nod. However, I do feel like, knowing that Teofimo is the house fighter, you need to really freaking put up a performance. And yes, you're making him miss, but you're not making him pay, Jamaine. You have to make him pay. You don't just make him miss. And I think Jamaine, it might just be just because he's hasn't faced a level of opposition. Like I said, Teofimo was already used to facing, right? And this comes with experience. But I don't feel like Jamaine was taking opportunities to counter. Teofimo was throwing some sloppy ass punches, and Jamaine was making him miss. But he had so many opportunities to counter that I feel like he didn't take advantage of. And if he would have, and he would have made it a bigger fight, it would have been better in his favor, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, he did the same thing with Lomachenko, where he did, really, really well offensively, at least more. I don't know what the hell he didn't do that with Teofimo. But he was also, took some rounds off or at the end was like, okay, whatever. And I feel like Jamaine Ortiz didn't do enough to fully deserve the win. I was kind of edging it up for him just because, again, Teofimo was looking very silly, and I didn't like how he was kind of blaming Jamaine in front of the crowd, oh, he don't want to fight me. Bro, cut off the ring, brother in Christ. Please cut off the ring. The fact that Teofimo had complained before about, oh, I don't want to fight taller fighters because I'm like, my brother in Christ, you don't get to pick. If you want to be a good fighter, an elite fighter, you don't get to say, oh, I don't want to fight top fighters, or saying, oh, I'm only going to fight guys that come and engage with me. No. Cut off the fucking ring. So this is a fight where it's it wasn't even entertaining. So I feel bad for the people that stayed in Vegas and were there on a Thursday. I mean, people are there already for Super Bowl. But if someone paid and drove there, I would feel oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. That was not a good fight. That was not the greatest show. And post-fight, Teofimo doubled down. You guys saw the interview. He was talking about Jesus, spitting colorblind ideology.
I am a champion. I bleed for this. I sweat for this. And I cry for this every time. Jesus is real. And all I can say, may God giveth, God taketh. Blessed be the name of the Lord.
Point is, neither guy looked amazing, but I tweeted, Ortiz, his nickname is a technician. He was doing whatever he feels a technician would do, which is, be technical and shit. And Teofimo's called a takeover, and he was not taking over. And he was blaming Jamaine Ortiz for not taking over, as opposed to himself for not cutting off the ring. So while I was wrong in my prediction that, I was right on my prediction because Teofimo basically won on paper, right? And whatever, I wouldn't call it a robbery, but he's not looking to cash money right now. But I also don't want to give it to Jamaine Ortiz because, in my opinion, he should have done it a little bit more. Like, yes, you can argue and fuck it, like, give it to him because, sure, why not? He controlled the pace, sure. But he would have got against all the other 140 guys that are at the top. Let's be freaking for reals. Sidetrack, shout out for Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia getting that done. Good for them. I see you guys. Daring to be great, right? Making big fights. Great for y'all. As of for Teofimo, I don't know how he's going to continue to argue that he's the A-side when he continues to have such up and down performances. And even though he may say, oh, well, people might tune in to see me lose. No, I think the sentiment I got a lot from last night were that people were like really just done with like Teofimo's shenanigans and like trusting him to have like a good performance against somebody that, and not even elite, just every other, now people are saying that Josh Taylor was weight drained, and it's like, well, Teofimo hasn't really had a performance at 145 besides that, quote unquote weight drained Taylor. And I don't want to take anything away from Teofimo because as you saw in my last video, I really like that performance. But now I'm just like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? So just, I feel like Teofimo continues to like shoot himself in the foot, not only with his promoters and then the fans with all the stuff that he says, but at the same time, he's not delivering it. He delivers it sometimes, but when you got, you're just 26 and you're already up and down, the boxing fans are going to be like, yeah, no, especially when the division's so stacked with Subriel Matias, who's Teofimo, I've not heard him say that name, right? And then Theo and then Devin and Ryan, and they're gonna fight and they're gonna pick a winner. We're gonna see who's gonna win with that. And when it comes to the 140 division, Teofimo is not looking to cash money, and I don't see how he's gonna argue that he deserves the big money in comparison to all the other guys. And even though I do give him props for facing good opposition, because you know what, Teofimo Lopez has fought really good names. Devin Haney and Ryan are obviously getting up there just by fighting each other and having fought, Tank. And Devin Haney has a really good resume now, in my opinion. But Teofimo, he's falling behind in the fact that people just don't trust his performances anymore. And when you're a guy that people are struggling to pick either for or against, that's kind of a problem. So let me know what you guys think about Teofimo's performance. Do you think that he deserved the win? Do you think that he deserved to get his belt, taken by Jamaine Ortiz? Do you feel like Jamaine should have been and the new? And let's just talk about that 117-111 scorecard. Because can we stop having like shitty scorecards on national television? Like every time there's a free card on TV, like we have some fucking ridiculous ass scorecard, and I'm just like, oh man, like casuals are watching this saying like, this is what people watch. Like people still watch boxing because like every time I talk to my friends about boxing or people are like I meet, they're like, oh yeah, boxing's fake now, like, or boxing's is like it's trash now. And I can't even fucking say no because it's kind of true in the way that this is what, if that's what they're seeing in this, the scorecards are crazy. They're seeing like people doing those type of rants post fight. They're gonna be like literally a circus. Like last night was quite literally, before the fight, a circus, and then it was just no more than double digits per round. Or like that was like only 1 or 2 rounds where they both threw double digits or something like that. And it's like, it's giving Bartholomew and Easter all over again. Like, why are we doing this? It's giving Shakur de los Santos. And bringing that up, what's up with these Thursday fights from Top Rank? Like, I know that they're like on paper these fights should have been good, but it's just not delivering. And I don't mind it. I love Thursday fights. Give me more. Just make, just, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.